Hey everyone, I'm Jim O'Neill. This podcast is brought to you by the elite sales team with Real of Ohio, where we help buyers and sellers navigate the tricky real estate market of Northeast Ohio. And also BHD Gutters. BHD's Gutters is a seamless gutter company that focuses on new install, repairs, and gutter covers or gutter guards. Today, Jason VanDevere is here. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this, man.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
All right. Let's start at the beginning. What was 10-year-old Jason like?
10-year-old Jason. So I was homeschooled. I
Okay.
don't know if you knew that. So my dad has a cow farm.
Yeah.
And so I was homeschooled on a cow farm. So I kind of jokingly say I'm probably one of the most sheltered people you'd have ever met. So I was homeschooled on a cow farm. My cousins lived there, and there was 8 kids in their family, 6 in our family, and my grandparents also lived there. So it was good.
How far apart were the houses?
We could maybe from me to that. Very close.
Very
Football
close.
field.
Okay.
Away in between.
How big was the farm?
About 45 acres.
Okay.
So they've got 20, give or take, Black Angus cows. So I would say growing up there, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We were all homeschooled, so we'd finish work or school around noon, and then we could just goof off. And you learn to work.
Yeah.
You learn to work a lot, and it was fun. You're working with your hands.
Did you butcher the cows or?
We did not butcher them ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll like pen them up, and then the butcher will come, pick up a couple cows, and then a couple days later we get a bunch of boxes of frozen beef.
Oh, nice.
So,
You guys still do that?
Yeah, if you're ever looking for some.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, my dad would love to help you out with that.
Okay.
Get quarter cow, half cow, full cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's about as organic as you can come.
Right.
We just have grass. We don't give them anything else other than that hay in the wintertime. But
We've done that. That's how we've gotten beef for probably the last 4 or 5 years. But I have to drive all that to Minerva.
yeah,
But it's nice.
yeah.
And then if you look at how much you pay for half of a cow, like retail versus going and picking it up from a butcher, it's probably between $4 and $6 a pound. But you also get your fillets, your nice steaks, and all that kind of stuff too. So that's a.
It is, and it's healthy meat. So
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, and it's local. You're not.
Yeah.
Like when you shop for beef in the grocery store, like, well, wonder where this came from.
Yeah.
How long has this been off the hoof?
Right.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah. So that was 10-year-old me.
And then you were homeschooled until high school?
Went to high school, went to St. V's,
Yeah.
had a great experience there. Probably through high school, and then I went to college, went to University of Dayton. My life got a little distracted with drinking, partying, being a kid.
Yeah.
It seemed like fun at the time until after I graduated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When going from homeschool to St. Vincent St. Mary, which is a high school in Akron, I went there too.
Yeah.
Was that a big transition for you?
I don't think it was as big as other people would assume. I had been looking forward to it. I'm a pretty extroverted person, right? So like by the time I was there, I was just so excited to have friends.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you could take. I think other people take for granted having friends and just hanging out. Especially as a kid, it's like I wanted to have a birthday party when I was a kid.
Yeah.
It's like I had cousins. I didn't have friends, right? I mean, I played soccer. We were on a water ski team.
You grew up water skiing?
Yeah, competitive. Have you ever watched the
No.
Chippewa Lake Water Ski Show team? Okay, so it's like 10 minutes away. They do the pyramids, the jump, people on each other's shoulders.
Yeah.
So we travel around. Me, some of my siblings were in it. My dad would do it. So we travel around in our motorhome competing with the team.
No kidding.
Yeah. So I did have friends.
How bad does that hurt? Hitting the water.
So, when you're like barefooting, you're going 45 miles an hour,
Yeah.
and it hits hard. Yeah.
It's like
You'll roll a couple times before you punch through the water. You'll flip 3 or 4 times.
We did. We went on this family vacation and rented a pontoon boat, and so and you're one of 6. And
Yeah.
I'm one of 5, and so now that we're older, everybody's married and we all have kids. So it was my dad. It was the whole family on this pontoon boat.
Yeah.
And we got a tube on the back, a double tube, and I can remember a couple times getting whipped off that thing as an adult.
Yeah.
And it hurt really.
Even behind a pontoon boat?
Yeah.
Because those don't go crazy.
Well, no, they don't go that fast, but
Yeah,
you
but you're
can
whipping it.
you can
Yeah.
you can create the
Mhm.
speed and there's a couple times.
They'll hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, bad.
Yeah, they
It's
do
like a
hurt.
car accident.
Oh yeah, I mean, you'd fall, you'd get bloody noses, or because you're hitting the water hard. You definitely have a headache. So
Yeah, minor concussion.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What about falling off? Have you ever fallen off on top of someone's shoulders?
I don't think so. Typically on the tall pyramids, the
Yeah.
guys are at the bottom, and then it's girls who climb up on the top.
Okay.
Just because they're lighter. However, I would do the barefoot pyramid. So we'd be going 45, 50 miles an hour, and I would be on top. I don't remember ever falling. I have to imagine we did, but like that, you'd have to. I think to be up to like regulation for skiing, you'd have to wear a neck brace because if they fall and I'm on top of them,
Yeah.
I'm still going, and it's like you're just whiplashed. I'm sure we had fallen because we did it a bunch of times,
Yeah.
but I don't have any memories of it being.
That's
much
pretty
worse than-
wild.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild. And so the whole family water skis?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still water ski quite a bit. Yeah,
No kidding.
summertime.
That's awesome. Still barefoot, or do you use
I would
skis?
love to barefoot. It might have been 10 years now since I've barefooted.
Yeah.
I did maybe 2 summers ago. I went off the jump. So there's like the 6-foot jump, just to like see if I could still do it.
Yeah.
And it was fun. I don't know if I'll ever do it again because
Does your dad still do it?
he'll water ski. He'll wake surf. I don't know if you're familiar with wake surfing.
Yeah.
So a little more low key.
I'm not well versed on the water,
Okay.
like with water sports.
So the wake surf, you're going slower and you're literally surfing beyond the boat. So you start out with the rope and then you
Okay.
throw it in and you're surfing and you're going maybe like 12 miles an hour.
Okay.
So if you fall, it doesn't hurt. The rope is short. So if I'm in the boat, you're not that much further from you are right now. Like the rope is real short on the back. So you can still be talking with people.
Yeah.
It's just a little more laid back.
Right on.
Yeah.
Nice. Did you play any sports in high school?
Played soccer.
Okay.
I played hockey up until my senior year.
Through St. V? or?
No, through Center Ice.
Okay.
Down in Canton.
Okay.
I was on the ping pong club. Yeah.
Ice hockey?
Yeah.
Was that fun?
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah.
fun. So we grew up on it was a home league that they had, and we grew up on a lake. So we would ice skate and play hockey
Sure.
all the time. Where the good people at hockey would go on the travel team. So the home league was people not very good. So we could come and we thought we were amazing compared to the other kids
Yeah.
that were playing. But now if I play with somebody who actually grew up playing with a real team,
Yeah.
they're way, way better. So it was the perfect fit for us.
Right on.
Well, for me and my cousins did it too. Yeah,
Nice. Nice. Do you have a cousin close to your age?
yeah I have a lot. Yeah, a lot of cousins. One that grew up on the farm is 3 days younger than me. 3 days older than me, sorry. Then there was one 2 years older than me, 2 years younger. But my dad is one of 7 kids.
Yeah.
Almost all their kids have a bunch of kids.
Sure.
So, like, when I was at St. V's, I had another cousin in my grade, and he went to Dayton with me. There's,
Okay.
yeah, big family.
And you guys close?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. He was by, at least like that one, I'm going to be the best man in his wedding. He was the best man in my wedding. I still see my cousins a lot.
Right on. Cool. And then, all right, let's talk about college. What did
Yeah.
you major in?
Entrepreneurship and finance.
Okay. All right.
So, for the most part, trying to use it.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
was entrepreneurship as a degree?
I would recommend it. You got kind of a different taste of the marketing, accounting, finance. They had you start a business your sophomore year on campus. They gave you some money. So me and you were put in a group. So me and maybe like 4 other guys, we were selling bucket hats.
Okay.
That was kind of like a cool thing then. That was probably what I learned the most from. But they would have lots of entrepreneurs come talk again at the school.
Okay.
And that was probably one of my favorite parts of it, where there's people. So like I was actually just at Dayton maybe a month ago now as one of those speakers. So it's kind of fun to
really?
be full circle on it. But it's like, when you're in college, you do have some guys who are 60 years old and started a giant business, and then you have people who are a few years out and they started a business, and I feel like that was
More
inspiring.
impactful?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right on.
So I'd recommend it. Yeah.
Nice. What was your, like, we could get in a little bit of, like, daily life in college, but were there any habits that you formed in college that you still lean on today?
I would say I formed a lot of bad habits
Yeah.
that I had to break. Habits that
And let me actually like kind of back up a little bit because I think there's like a little bit of, and maybe some people watching this either went to college and they're like that was a waste of time and money,
yeah.
or are maybe on the fence like, ooh, do I go to college or do I not? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, was there any like big
Takeaways from
takeaways
it.
where you're like, yes, you should. This is why you should go to college. I guess make a plug of why
Why
a
you should go to
young
college?
person,
Should go to college.
yeah, or should not,
Yeah.
or maybe make both.
So I was in a unique situation where my family paid for me to go to college.
Okay.
If I was paying for it myself, I don't. I probably would have done it at the time, but now looking back, I wouldn't have because it's hard for me to know how much of that influenced my life. Like I majored in entrepreneurship and finance, and then I started my own business and buy rental properties. So in a way, like that's exactly what I'm doing,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it's so much that I learned. I feel like by talking to people like you or just interviewing people, it gave me a lot of social skills. So those are good. I feel like if I compare where I ended up compared to lots of my friends who I hung out with, they started a lot of the bad habits at college and they still act like they're in college and now they're in their 30s. So
What year did you graduate from college?
2017.
Okay.
So we're almost 10 years out of college and I don't know. I think like if you wanted to be a lawyer or a doctor, it's like, yeah, you're going to need to go to college. I technically didn't need a degree to go into what I'm doing. I think probably the most helpful classes that I took away were finance. I feel like just having a really, not that I have a phenomenal understanding of, but a better understanding of return on investment, the cost of money, time value of money. I feel like that was helpful and really convincing for me that I need to be investing in stuff now. Right, like I wanted to start investing right when I got out of college. The other thing that I think was helpful was the accounting classes. I didn't like them at the time, but like you have your own business. I don't know, especially if you go through the phase of doing your own QuickBooks for a while. If I didn't have those accounting classes, that would have been a big learning hurdle to get over. Like, how does this all work?
Yeah.
So it depends on your profession.
And you lived on campus.
Lived on campus.
Yeah.
You went to Dayton, right?
Yeah.
You know the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Of living there. Yeah.
Yeah. So this year will be 20 years, out of college.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was a lot different 20 years ago. And now I sound like the old guy.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was in high school, people just said, well, just go get a degree and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
And that was true until probably 2008.
Mm-hmm.
Probably 2008. And then after that, it got more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so I guess my advice to somebody going into college would be very careful about loans and decide what you want, because I think a couple years of experience can get you into a field that you want to get into.
Yeah.
And then, but if you are able to go to college and live on campus, you should absorb every single second of that.
Yeah.
The social interaction, the lessons, the lessons that you can take away from watching people screw up are huge. And then just that first little bit of like, go manage your own life with low stakes. You know,
I think I did learn a ton with that. Like you're still living on your own, and it's like a slight pretend life before you get into the real one. Yeah. And I think I like what you said of just trying to decide what you want to do with your life. And I know that's hard, but I feel like when I went to college, for me, it was almost like this is 4 years where it's acceptable to just act reckless because everyone seemed to be doing it. And I mean, I worked, I had like sales jobs throughout it, so I don't want to completely beat up my experience.
Yeah.
I sold advertisement space door to door, sold credit card processing door to door to businesses. Like those were great experiences. So I would say those were big things I did take away. But I think I could have been better prepared, probably more for like marriage, family, some of the other things I wanted out of college if I would have not been so distracted.
When did you meet your wife?
I met her maybe 4 years after college.
Okay, so not in.
Not right away.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about after graduating college, and
Mm-hmm.
then your um, your opportunity to go to to your family business
Mm-hmm.
or not.
Mm-hmm.
And then what was the what was the decision about that? Was there any like emotional pull to go toward the family business, or were you like, midway through college, I'm not doing that?
Mm-hmm.
And then what was the family? How did the family react?
Yeah. Yeah, so the context here, my family owns car dealerships.
Yep.
So for everyone here in the area, you'll see my last name, VanDevere. Hopefully you see it all over. VanDevere,
Yeah.
Kia, Cadillac, whatever. They've got 5 dealerships. So when I was in college, I think I thought that I would start my own business in college
Mm-hmm.
or right after college. And I didn't want to go into the family business. I always wanted to start a business of my own.
Okay.
And then I just didn't put in the work. uh, like I kind of brought up earlier, I just got distracted with the other things to do
Yeah.
on campus. So then I would say the dealership almost just happened by default of I probably senior year I did apply. I know I applied for 2 jobs and they didn't come together. So
What were those jobs?
one of them was working for this real estate investor who was down in Dayton. He has
Okay.
like $2 billion worth of real estate. He would come speak at our entrepreneurship classes and it was super inspiring. So I was like, I want to work for him. Applied, didn't get that one. And then one was, it was some sort of like entrepreneurship program where they would like pair you with a startup. And I had missed the deadline when I was supposed to apply. And I was like, whatever, I'll apply late. And no, it didn't go anywhere. So I would say like that was, in a way, it was like my fault. I didn't have a job. I didn't have a business when at the end. So I went into the dealership by default.
Okay.
But then I feel like when I went into the dealership, I took the mindset, I'm going to give this everything I've got. Like, if I'm going to go into this is what I'm going to do with my career. I'm going to get everything I have. And I did. So then when I went to the dealership, kind of the program my dad has is there's a lot of departments in the dealership. So he wanted me to work in each department for maybe 6 months, maybe even a couple years, and start learning the different departments so I could learn the whole thing and then one day become a car dealer. And I was reading books, I was going to conferences, I was seeking out mentors, like I was just trying to give it everything I had. And my dad was super excited to have me at the dealership because I think he probably knew through college that I wanted to start my own business. So then for me to say, nope, this is the business that I want to go into, he was excited, right? Like, I even have those dreams for my own kids, and my son's 3.5. I don't know if you have similar for your kids, like, oh, this would be great if they could build off of what I've built these years. But after a few years, it just became clear to me this isn't what I wanted to do. And it was hard because me and my dad are very similar. I would say like personality, skill sets. I was doing well, but I just hated it. I feel like every day I was going there, like trying to re-pump myself up, but inside it was just like, I would never have signed up for this job. Now, I don't want to rip on the car business. Car business is a great place.
Sure. Yeah.
And probably like things that made that so clear to me were my dad loves the car dealership.
That's what I was just going to say. It's very clear by talking with your dad that he
loves
really,
it.
Yeah. And the people that work there, because I bought a lot of vehicles.
Yeah.
And I'll ask, like, how do you like working here? Like, how do you like working for the owner? Like, oh, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. And a lot of, everybody I've asked has said that.
That's really good.
At the dealership.
Yeah. Yeah, they've created an amazing atmosphere there. And it's like you can see my dad's love for it if you're at the store, right? If my dad was at the Chevy store when you were buying your truck, you would have known because you'd hear him. He's loud, he's excited. I mean, you've met his personality. He's happy to be there. He's talking to people. And I feel like working there and even growing up, I knew I wanted that. Like I wanted a business that just lit a fire inside of me where it was this extension of myself. It was a creative outlet. I loved the people. And after working there, it just became clear I'm not going to have that here. I don't have that same fire. And I wanted to find it. And probably like what also made it clear that I wanted to leave was I bought my first rental property when I was there.
Yeah.
So I bought 4 units. It was before I met you, so
No, I know. But I want to talk about, because you kind of went outside the norm
Mm-hmm.
for one of them that you bought. And so I'd like you to share about that, but keep going at some point.
Yeah, because that first one, and it kind of connects this to the college story. When you're in college, I felt like I was king of the world, right? It's like me and my best friends. We have our house, and they come to my house, and it seems amazing.
Yeah.
And then we go from having my own house to coming back, moving into my parents' house, and sharing a room with my younger brother, who love him, but it's like sharing your room with your 12-year-old brother isn't. It's like, what the heck happened to me, right?
Yeah.
So I just had I need to get out of here, and I knew I wanted to get into real estate. So that first one, I wanted to do the whole house hacking thing. Live in one of the units, rent out the others. So when I was still working there, I got a 4-unit apartment building. And I feel like that also gave me clarity where I just enjoyed the process so much. Where if I meet somebody else who has rental properties, I could just talk to them about it for hours, right? It's this game, it's this puzzle. How are you finding deals? How are you finding tenants? What are you doing to improve them or raise your rents? It's just fun. Mm-hmm. And if I contrasted that with the car business, if I met somebody else who worked in the car business or even another dealer's son where we're on the same path, it's like I knew how to talk about the car business, but it didn't get me excited at all. It was just a force. This is what you talk about when you're in the car business. So it's kind of like that gave me clarity of, all right, I can find similar fire somewhere else. And I would say seeing my dad's energy, he was like, I want that, and I'm just not going to get it here. So that was kind of what brought me to the dealership phase and clarity that I wanted to leave.
And then what was his reaction when you said,
I was terrified to tell him, right? Because it took me a while to tell him. And I think I would imagine he could probably see that he was coming. I was getting curious about other things, real estate being one of them. So we went to lunch and told him my plans of leaving. And I think he was extremely surprised. I think it was just hard for him to wrap his head around. Because, again, we're very similar. Mm-hmm. So maybe for him it was like, I love this business. Why aren't you loving it too? Yeah. We're similar. You're doing well at it. Why aren't you liking it? Yeah. And, I wrestled with that too. Why don't I just like this?
Right.
My life would be easier if I could just stay on this path.
Yeah. And, I think that a lot of people aren't born into a layup.
Yeah.
But I think that's what takes courage to step out and say, I want to, carve my own path.
Yeah.
And that's very admirable. And that's why I asked
Well, and I feel like that
question.
was also maybe part of what was going on inside of me is I feel like other people that I met would always say oh, I wish I had an opportunity like I had,
sure.
right? And it was understandable, but they would make these comments of well, I'll never be successful because my dad doesn't own a business, right? And that always bothered me. And I think my dad reads lots of self-help books. I got into these self-help books, and I feel like it created this belief no, you can go be successful in whatever you want to, right? Yeah. My family built this business, so maybe that also gives me the confidence of if they can figure it out, somebody else should be able to as well. But I feel like I almost maybe wanted to prove or show somebody, look, I was given this golden ticket here. I can show up at the dealership, I can smile, and I can work my way to become a successful car dealer.
Or probably not even work that hard.
Or
if you're being real about it,
your name's on the building. It's it's pretty straight path.
You just mail in the effort every day, and
Yeah. So I feel like I almost wanted to show somebody, look, I had the golden ticket, and I walked away from it, and I was able to figure this out. And my family's not the family where you're just given money because it's around. It's look, if you want to go into the family business, you can work your way into it and buy your way into ownership. But if you're not, that's okay, right? But here's the opportunity. You're not just given anything.
Sure.
So, I feel like maybe I was trying to prove that to myself or just show other people, you don't need a car dealer dad to be successful. You need the courage to go out and do something that you want.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, my dad, I would say he's been extremely supportive, but that initial conversation, it was a harder one, probably because I was just afraid, and I think he was shocked that I was actually doing it. And it was hard for me to even wrap my head around, how am I going to tell the employees, Jason VanDevere is leaving VanDevere. I was afraid. Really, I told my direct managers, and I told like 2 other people, but I just stopped showing up. I mean, my dad knew what day I was in my last. But I felt like people that I shared at the dealership were confused. I feel like I had a couple people almost get angry, like,
well, yeah,
your family gave you this. Like, why would you just walk away from it? Like, so it was like, I just don't need this. I didn't want to tell other people. They would find out when I wasn't there.
Sure.
So I told the people that needed to know and left.
That's, very courageous, very admirable.
Thanks.
Yeah. So what did that immediate pivot look like? So, what did that immediate pivot look like?
Yeah, so the business I wanted to start was a business selling planners, which I wanted to be a gift today. Go crazy. So this is also like, I'm telling my dad I want to leave the dealership to start a business selling paper planners. Now, paper planners now have become a little bit of like a trendy product. Lots of authors are selling planners, but this is 2018 when I'm having these conversations with him, planners were like a dying business. It's kind of like, this is a paper product, you should launch an app. Nobody's buying paper products anymore. So I didn't know what it would be called, how I was going to make it, what the design was going to be. It was just like, I want to do this, and I'm going to quit my job and go do it. So I can also understand my dad and other people's opinions of like, Jason, that's a crazy idea. And many people flat out told me that. I think it's a crazy idea to leave. But I also had a killer plan B. Like, if I went out and launched this business and it failed, worst comes to worst, I could probably just go knock on the dealership's door and be like, I'm back. So I quit and worked on launching this business. Now, the nice thing is I had my 4-unit apartment building at the time. So I could live in that one apartment for free, and I was making several $100s a month off it. So I could live there and support my basic needs for basically as long as I needed to get this business going. And I quit. I spent months just interviewing people. I wanted to figure out like, how are these successful people setting and accomplishing their goals? So I interviewed a bunch of business owners, and my family's connections did help with that. Business owners, people we knew would accomplish something neat, or wrote a book, or just how are you setting your goals, tracking your progress, holding yourself accountable. And then I put them together in that planner. I ended up hosting 7 focus groups where I took people through it to just nail down this design until it worked. It would help people. People were using it. They were setting goals. They were accomplishing them. And then it was like, all right, I'm going to launch this.
And then how were sales initially versus now? Because I think you're right. A lot of people are writing things down.
Yeah. Sales initially were really good, but I wasn't earning profits for a while. And that was my own probably like mindset things I needed to work through. One, it was like I launched it and I was just so afraid of failing. It was like, I'm going to market as much as I can. And that's just what I did. I was spending as much money as I could on marketing. Most of it was out of fear. Almost all of it was unprofitable. But it was like, I just need to be doing everything I can to sell these planners. So now I am selling less, but I'm turning a profit. So, I mean, when I was launching them, probably maybe like my first month I sold like 500, and then I got up to over 1,000 planners a month selling my planners.
And are you still marketing it, or did you back off on the marketing?
I backed off. I backed off on the marketing when I decided to write this book.
Yeah.
I just didn't have time to sell the planners, and then the planner business also turned into like coaching and a podcast and other things. But it was like, what can I say no to right now so I could focus on writing my book? So I stopped all of my ads. I dropped my coaching clients, and I was like, I'm just going to write this book for 2 years.
And when did you write the book?
So it came out in September. So I started that a year and a half prior. So it would have been May of 23.
Okay.
No, 24. Yeah, somewhere in there.
Okay.
It took me a year and a half to write it and get it published.
What does that look like?
A lot of time. For me,
Yeah.
I'm not... so I would say, like, if somebody wants to write a book, it's very doable, and you can self-publish it. It's reasonably easy. I hired a hybrid publisher to help me through the process. Luckily, everything in that book I had said like dozens of times. So the hardest part was figuring out what's the order I'm going to put this all in. Because of the coaching programs I was running, I had podcasts and I've been kind of like putting these frameworks out there.
Mm-hmm.
It was just figuring out, how do I put this whole thing into a process? And then once I had that outline, then it took me like 2 weeks to write the first draft. And it was like 350 pages.
Okay.
But it took me several months to make that outline. And then editing, depending on how in-depth somebody wants to go, editing was a painful process.
Who edited it?
The company I use was called selfpublishing.com.
Okay.
So they have courses where you can buy a course and teach you to self-publish it, or they have these hybrid programs where they have their own. It's kind of like a traditional publisher, but I own 100% of the rights.
Okay.
I just pay them to edit it, help me design the cover. So it was that company. And I would say I had a great experience with that company. Editing it was just hard.
Yeah.
For me to go through it again and again and again. It went through 6 rounds of professional editing. I wouldn't want to discourage anybody from that. I think that, like, what gave me the courage to both launch the planner and write that book is getting clarity on, what do I want to do with my life, right? Like, once I got clarity on, I want to make this planner, just having that amount of clarity of, I know this is what I want to do,
Mm-hmm.
then I had the confidence to, like, I'm going to say no to all this other stuff. And then when it was hard, it was like, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to put in the work until I figure it out. And I would say that was like similar approach with the book. It was just like, this is what I want to do. I'm going to say no to anything else I can right now so I can focus on this. And it was like hard and time consuming, but I would say I enjoyed the process. I was still living out the dream of, I'm writing this book. I'm excited to get it out there. So yeah, if somebody's thinking of writing a book, I was like, how big is the fire inside of you?
Yeah.
Because, if the challenge is this big and your fire's only this big, you'll probably quit, right? But if you got a big fire, it's like, okay, now I can push through.
What is your process for setting and achieving a goal?
Yeah. So, and this is kind of like part of this, my book is called Dream Driven, so it's all about dreams. Is before I even set goals, there's this prior step of dreaming. And I'll kind of define what I mean by dreaming versus goals, just so people can follow along with this. Everyone's probably familiar with goals, right? Goals are the whole SMART goals thing. If you set a goal, it's specific, it's realistic, it's something you actually want to do with your life, right? When you're dreaming, on the other hand, you're just asking your heart, what would I love to do? What would I love to experience? And you're dreaming. Without limits, there are things you may do, may not actually do. You're just letting your heart speak to you. What would I love to do with my life? And the thing is once you have these dreams, then you can set goals that are aimed at making those dreams happen, right? Your dreams give your goals purpose. They give them meaning. So now I have purpose every day. Lots of people don't dream, right? And the thing is if you don't have dreams, you can still set goals, but they're not aiming at anything. You're not working towards anything bigger than the goal itself, because the problem with goals is you can set a goal to do anything, right? Like you could set the goal today to write a pop-up book about penguins, right? And you could just go do it and make a plan and do it.
Yeah.
But if that's not aiming at a dream of yours, I'll tell you, Jim, that's a complete waste of time, right? So if you don't have dreams, you don't have meaningful goals, because they're not aiming at anything bigger than themselves. And if you don't have meaningful goals, people end up in this place that I call survival mode, where you're just working to survive, right? You're just trying to stay afloat. And there's an easy way to fix this: dream. Right? Like when I'm helping somebody set goals, one of my first questions is, what have you always dreamed of doing? What are your dreams? Yeah. And very common, people do have dreams, but almost just as common, people tell me, well, I don't know. It's like, all right.
Yeah.
How often do you dream? Never. It's like, well, there's your problem, right? It's because I think most people, rather than letting their heart speak to them about their dreams without limits, they do the opposite. They would think about all the worries without limits, right? What's the worst case thing? And okay, I'm not asking you to do something completely different. Just take what you're already doing and focus on somewhere better. What would it look like to experience a miracle this year? What's your dream? So I would say that's the first place to start. What's your dream? And I can even give into more process of like how I actually do that. But once I dream, then I set goals that are aiming at that. And
so how does somebody, all right. So someone who's stuck in survival mode, worry, paycheck to paycheck.
They got to start,
Yeah.
What do they do?
What do they do? How do you get to ground level?
You need to start dreaming every single day. So I take time every morning. I go down to my basement. I set a timer for 10 minutes. I put my headphones in, listen to some music that gets me all excited, and I just pace around and dream about the life that I want. And here's the thing is if you do that, two things are going to happen. One, you're going to get crystal clear on what you want to do with your life, because you'll have some dreams come up that you'll dream about for a few days in a row, and eventually it passes. It just doesn't get you excited anymore. Where you have these other dreams that you can dream about again and again and again for years, and it just gives me clarity on, okay, this is what I want to do, and it's so clear in my head. And then when I have that clarity, it gives me a ton of motivation, because now I can see in my mind what I'm working towards, and I'm not just showing up every day to work, I'm showing up every day working towards my dream. It lights a fire. I have the opinion that your dreams define your life. If you dream about going out and getting drunk with your friends all the time, your life is going to look like that. If you dream about starting a business, you'll put yourself on that trajectory. And if you don't dream about anything, it's still going to define your life, because you end up in survival mode. There's nothing you're working towards. So first place I would say to start is dedicate time every single day to dreaming. And if somebody commits to that, even for 30 days, 7 days, 2 days, I promise it'll change the way you start looking at the world. It's just, now you have fun. Now, most people they don't even let their heart speak to them of what they want to do with their life. It's what do I need? What do I need? It's like, man, you're made for so much more than what do you need. Yes, you do have needs. You got to eat, you got to sleep, whatever. But like, what do you want?
You got to pay bills.
Yeah, you got to pay your bills.
Yeah.
But your purpose in life, it's bigger than that. It's
in 10 minutes a day is not too much to ask.
Yeah.
Whether it's at the beginning of the day or the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Fit it in. I like doing it like undivided attention in my basement, but you could do it when you're driving your car or mowing the lawn. But it gets you clear on what
do you take notes?
So I do. I'll not normally during that time, but I'll make dream lists. So this is an activity that's in my planner, but anybody can do this. Make a list of your dreams. And this is like where this started from. Is my dad, he's had us ever since we were little kids. We'd make dream lists, maybe 2 times a year, where we'd all sit around the table, and I mean, I'd be a little kid, so I couldn't even write, and we just draw pictures of our dreams. What do you want to do with your life? And as I was older, now I still have many of these lists that I made with a kid of like, they're just dreams, things I might do, might not do. We still do this as a family now. So I'm one of 6 kids. Almost all of us are married. We do a family trip once a year, and we'll take an evening, and we all will make a dream list. And we go around, spouses included, and we share our dreams.
Would you care to share an example of a dream? And then actually, are your dreams more experience driven, or are they financially driven?
I would say they're both. So like I would say one of the big dreams for me that's been driving lots of my actions is I want to have a big family, like 6, 8 kids, dream vehicles, a 12-passenger van full of all my little VanDevere kids. So that's a dream, but I mean, it could be like, I want to go to Hawaii and see lava. I want to see the northern lights. Could be experience-based. There's certain places in the country that like me and my wife want to go to the Holy Land together and go to this certain church. So I would say it's both.
A little both?
Yeah, experience. Probably as I've gotten older, it's shifted more to experiences than things I wanted
material
to have.
Things?
Yeah, well, if I look at these lists that I made as a kid, it's like I want to have my own TV. Right? Like
kid lists.
Yeah, they're kid lists.
Yeah.
But it is super rewarding. Over the years, you can look back on these, and there's lots of these that now I can look back on. It's like I've done that, and it's incredible when you look back, and it's like I remember years ago writing these dreams down, thinking these are crazy. How's this ever going to happen? And now I look at my life, and it's like, really, we've done a lot of these. And as a family, we can all see this with each other. It's, my family's been hearing about me dream about writing a book for a while. They dream of me getting rental properties or starting a business or being on podcasts. Like, these are all things that started on a dream list. And I've seen my dad, my other siblings, take action on their dreams. And
that's really
fun.
Cool.
So I think that's a great place.
That's a good tip for a father, too.
Yeah.
To encourage their kids to dream.
Dream.
Because I think a lot of that maybe survival mode gets passed down subconsciously from parent to child.
Oh yeah.
Because if you see your dad going and achieving dreams, then you're like, well, my dad did it, so that's what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is generational because it's.
I do too.
Yeah.
But I mean, anything that's generational can be changed because at some point someone chooses to change it or just keep it going.
Yeah, it's probably the other generation didn't know, and somewhere in my family's generation they started doing this. I imagine they weren't making dream lists forever, right? So it's when are you gonna start?
Yeah, and it's very much a. I think self-development gets kind of like, well, it'd be nice to have time for that, but like if you don't start working on yourself personally, you're never going to go anywhere professionally.
Yeah,
the two are combined.
they are.
I can't grow this much personally and this much professionally. There will be no fire, like you said.
Yeah,
if I can
connected.
Personally grow, then professionally will just follow.
Yeah,
that's been true in my life.
I agree, and I think like for dreaming, I think that's a huge step probably in your personal development is when you start like allowing your heart to believe you're capable of more. Right?
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't have to be this way. Because I imagine even with you're a very accomplished individual.
Well,
probably you can relate to all of these things started as a dream, whether you intentionally labeled it that, but it's probably something you were daydreaming about, right? It wasn't like all of a sudden a gutter business popped up and slapped you in the face, and it's like, shoot, let's do it. It's thought about it for a long time.
Yeah, and it started a long time ago. Yeah. And it started like, I hate doing this job,
Yeah.
I hate doing this job. I can't do this job anymore. Like, I need to figure it out.
Yeah.
And then, which actually I want to ask you about here in a second, which is your mentors. But then I started talking to people.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, what would, how do I get out? I was stuck in landscaping for a long time.
Yeah.
I had a few other jobs, but from like 14 until 29, it was how I earned money.
Yeah.
And then just going, well, I'm going to get a real estate license. It was a big shift.
That was a risk that you took at the time. Probably like it's betting on yourself a little bit more than landscaping, right?
Yeah.
You mow a lawn, you're going to get paid. You could work in real estate for months and not.
Well, and I was kind of a fixture in the industry. I knew I could go anywhere and get a job. I think it's probably like car dealerships because, like, as I'm sure you know, a lot of these guys go from one dealership to the, you know what I mean? They just
grass is greener on the other side. It's
Yeah, and that's how a lot of, I think, established industries are. You just go from one company to the next and keep moving. But I found my, I guess, faith in myself through physical exercise, which is.
That's really good. So it's kind of like you prove to yourself in a way I can set a goal and I can accomplish it, or I can become disciplined. I can make a change with myself.
So being, I'm sure you remember back when you were younger, a lot of people smoked cigarettes. It was very common.
Yeah.
And I smoked cigarettes until I was probably 20. Oh, I mean, not the whole time, and it's not like I was, smoking tons of cigarettes every day, but until 2012. And then in 2012, I quit on January 1st, and then in September, I ran the Akron Marathon. And I'd never run another race.
And that all was in that span of time. It's not like you were a big runner before January 1st.
The first race I ever ran was the Akron Marathon.
Wow. Good for you, man.
Yeah, and then this was the moment. This is so dumb. But the moment that I got like the courage to change, I was like 16 miles in, and like I sought out very few mentors before I went on this adventure. I would just started running, and then I would run a little bit more and run a little bit more. And anybody who knows anything about running, it did not run a marathon the way you're supposed to run a marathon. But about 16 miles in, weird stuff starts to happen. Like you're getting.
Well, you need to be eating during. Like I've done a half marathon. I've never done a marathon, because you have to train your body to like. You need to eat, right? Otherwise, you're gonna run out of calories. Okay, yeah.
I didn't eat anything.
Yeah.
This is about as meathead as you can get.
Okay.
And there in the Summit County Metro Park, you run down San Juan Parkway. Anyone who's not from Akron is not going to know that. But there was somebody in a leaf suit. And so there's a weird thing that happens when your body gets really tired. And at 16 miles, I was getting really tired. And I saw somebody in a Leaf suit, and it said, "Belief in yourself." And I like started breaking down. Like I started like getting really emotional, and I was like, I'm done. I'm not going to, I'm going to stop letting life just push me through. Like I'm done. And you know what? Like maybe I'll fail, but that's fine. And then about 4 or 5 months later, I started looking for jobs and applying for jobs, and it was 2012, and no one was hiring. The economy wasn't great. No one was hiring outside of the industry that I was in. And so I just decided that if I can sell one house a year and I can work full time for $11.50 an hour, I did all the math. I need to make $11.50 an hour and sell one house a month. We would have the equal income to what we had.
You were married at the time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have kids?
Almost. My
Wow.
wife was pregnant. But I wouldn't have done it when I kind of pitched it to my wife. I said, hey, like I was talking to some people today, and you know, you could get a real estate license. We had just bought a house, and you know, if I can sell one house a month, and then you know, I talked to a guy that I used to work for, and he said he would hire me right away. So I said I could do this 40 hours a week, work real estate at night, do one house a month. You know, all I got to do is like this should work. And by the time I was halfway through, she's like, "Yeah, do it."
That's awesome.
I was like, I was really hoping you were going to say no. Like,
yeah. Well,
because of the fear.
Yeah, because it sounds like maybe that run or somewhere in that year, you let your mind start dreaming of what do I want to be doing. Because maybe before that, it was like, this is it. Like, I'm not thinking of what are the big grand things I want to do with my life. It's like, well, maybe or maybe not.
So between the age of 24 and 29, like the novelty of working a 9 to 5 had worn off. It wore me down real quick.
Yeah.
Which I think some people they just have a higher tolerance. Like they can just deal with whatever, showing up.
Yeah.
There are people for sure who can work a job for 30 years and be totally content and be fine. I'm just not made that way.
I wasn't like that.
No.
Yeah.
5 years. That's what I could do.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was at a jumping off point. The how much I hated my job was big enough to just push me over the edge. And a very little safety net.
Yeah.
Like I could probably move my family in with my parents, but very, very short time.
Yeah.
They'd be like, you need to get out of here.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably like a similar place to where I was when I was working at the dealership. And that might sound bad as the dealership, but like I just didn't like it. And it was like, I was so frustrated showing up to work every day because I was doing it again. I'm showing up here again. So yeah, it is like, it was a formative time in my life looking back. And probably for you, it's like if someone else is in that job that they hate, it's like, well, it's good.
Yeah.
Now you're building a fire. Now you're going to have some courage to go do something.
Yeah, and I feel like mine was dumb, but it was what it was, and it was super powerful. It hit me really hard.
Yeah.
And I made the decision right then and there. I'm like, I'm out. I'm not going to spend a single day doing something that doesn't like fuel me rather than, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not punching a clock. All right. Let's talk about, because you mentioned mentors.
Yeah, I would love to talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Want me to start going?
Yeah, just go.
Well,
go.
So I have a chapter dedicated to this of like, now my book is specifically for people who want to start a business. So some of these ways of finding mentors are specific to that. But I feel like with whatever you want to do in your life, finding mentors should be the first step. It's kind of like the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, right? You probably remember that from math class. So if you want to do something, the easiest way to do it is find someone who's already done it and ask them how they did it. Boom, there's your straight line. So when I wanted to start a business, it was like, okay, who started businesses like this and how did they do it? So I think for finding mentors, I break down 8 ways in my book. So maybe I'll go through a handful of them and you can cut me off whenever you feel like you've had enough. So obviously like the first would be start with your friends and family, your warm market of people. Who do you know who's done that? So like when I wanted to start a business, I didn't know anybody who had started an online business before, but I did know people who knew people. So I just started texting, like if I thought you would be connected, it'd be, hey, Jim, I'm thinking of starting this online business. Do you know anybody who's done that you could connect me with? I'm basically clueless right now. And I got connected with a bunch of people. Probably another way is networking. Whatever you're working on, there's probably networking for it. And I'm going to break networking into like in-person or online. Like there's probably online and in-person communities of runners when you wanted to run that marathon, right?
Yeah.
So it's like if you go there, you're going to meet people who've already done it before. Or in online communities, I always want to get somebody at least on the phone, ideally to meet with me.
Yeah.
And if you're meeting with them in person, it's pretty easy. You met them in person. If you want to schedule a coffee, that's great. But on online communities, typically what I'll do is I'll go find a Facebook group or a forum with these people, and I'll make a post that's very specific that somebody who's already done it could answer. So I'm going to give an example. I can't remember if a few years ago I told you I was looking at buying a mobile home park.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? I probably called you asking if you knew
Yeah.
anybody who knew mobile home parks doing exactly this, trying to find mentors. So I knew nothing about mobile home parks, but I found these forums where mobile home park owners were. So I posted a specific question. Hey, this property's got this wastewater treatment plan. What should I be looking for? Whatever. Something that could take me weeks to research and understand, but somebody who's done this before could tell me like in a minute,
Yep.
This is a big red flag. So I made these posts in some of these forums. You get responses, and anybody who responded, I would tell them, thank you so much. Is there any chance you'd be willing to hop on a quick 15-minute call with me? I'm clueless. I'm just trying to figure this stuff out. And I found people that would help me out.
I think that's because when genuine people crack the code, they want to share it with somebody else.
They do.
They want to share.
And I mean, I know for my business, people love talking about their business, but like even you doing that marathon, if you figured out this way to train, or hey, here's the training program I use that allowed me to do it, yeah, everyone likes feeling like the expert and can share.
Yeah.
So those are some, I'm trying to think of ways that are relevant to all the people here. Now, for me, like starting a business, I have cold called many businesses. It's like going back to the mobile home park. There was lots of other mobile home parks in our area. So I just cold called them and said, hey, look, I'm looking to buy in the mobile home park down the street. I know nothing about it. I want to see if you give me some guidance. And most people are like, no, but I found like 2 or 3 that were super helpful, where they're like, hey, I know the guy who services that place. Here's his phone number. Here's this contact of where they buy these from. Call them. I had somebody meet me at the property and walk around it with me. It was crazy. And these are people I just cold called.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe those are some good ones to start with that are, the other ones are going to be a little bit more business specific, but I would say just start reaching out to it. Figure out your goal, what's your dream, who's done it, ask them how they did it.
So, like, let's say that I wanted to get into car detailing. Mm-hmm. What would your protocol for,
like the sequence of these things? Yeah, this is great. So I'd first start with the warm market, like I said, networking. Then probably, I don't know, maybe before cold calling, I would look for detailing businesses for sale. Now, I would only do this if there's part of you that would be slightly open to buying a detail business. But this is the thing, is if a business is for sale, it typically gives you the opportunity, you just went through this process a couple years ago, it gives you the opportunity to sit down with the owner and go line by line through their profit statement, their balance sheet, and ask them like, what's this? How are you getting it so high? Now, if I was gonna be doing this for a detail shop, I would wanna be completely upfront if I meet a seller, like, hey, right now I'm trying to decide between starting my own or buying one like yours. Looks like if I find the right one, I might be able to shortcut the process versus buying one, right? I'm not telling you to go find these people, learn their trade secrets, and then use them against them, but you can learn a lot. Even by just looking online at businesses for sale, you might see, hey, here's a detail business for sale, and like there's like Biz Buy Sell or these websites.
Yeah.
A lot of times right there they'll have, hey, here's their revenue, here's how many employees they have, here's their fixed expenses. So I would start with business, probably get into businesses for sale. Then I'd probably start cold calling other businesses. A lot of times when I'm doing this for a business, I want somebody who's similar to my business, but ideally someone who's not going to view me as competition, because then they're not going to want to share the secrets. So depending on a detail shop, like I know with rental properties, there's enough to go around. I can learn your rental property strategies, and it's not gonna, my success won't hinder yours. Now, if there's a detail shop right next door to where you want to be, they probably don't want to give you their secrets, right? Because you're competition. But if you call one that's in Cleveland and you're in Canton, they're probably not worried about you taking their clients.
Yeah.
So cold calling people. Another one I would do is I would look for vendors. What are the vendors these people use? So if you're going to have a detail shop, since my family has detail departments in theirs, there are vendors who come through there very regularly. I would call them, and you could learn like what are the products I should be buying, what are the supplies. Those people, they do have a slightly biased opinion because they want to be selling you your products. But you can learn a lot. So kind of an example of this vendors one. When I was going to hire my first employee, I knew there was a bunch of legal stuff to do to hire an employee, right? And this should not replace seeking legal counsel. I'm not recommending what I'm going to say for that. But one of my first steps was I called a bunch of the different payroll software companies and just asked questions like, hey, I know there's a lot to do legally. What are you going to take care of versus what I'm going to have to take care of on my own? Just walk me through the process. And after I called like 6 of these companies, I could learn pretty well. Here's the process of getting set up as a registered employer with the state of Ohio. Now, again, still seek legal counsel or account, but like I could learn so much from these people because this is what they're doing all the time. So that I would probably also call, no, you can cut me off after this. If you know somebody who gets their car detailed all the time, like who are the potential customers, I would want to call them and ask them, hey, where do you get your car detailed? How much is it? What do you like that they do? What don't you like? Because they're going to be able to share with you, hey, here's the process. Right? When I call that one, here's what they tell me, and you can learn what's good, what's bad. Even like when I was looking at making my planner, I did cold call planner businesses, and I've gotten planner owners on the phone with me. So it's very niche. You can do this. But I could also look at like their reviews, for example, and just see, okay, these are things people like, these are things people hate, and I could learn from their customers without physically talking to them.
Yeah.
So hopefully that helps if you're thinking of starting a detail business.
Well, no, I personally I am not, but I see that as a huge opportunity, especially for somebody who doesn't have a lot of money to start. Buying one is difficult. Yeah. Especially if it's like well established, but it is something that somebody can do independently, mobile, and show up at someone's house. Yeah. Clean their car. Yeah. There's a lot of things that low-hanging fruit in the entrepreneurial game
to get started with
that to earn money.
And I think probably what I would be doing alongside when I'm finding mentors is look up people have probably wrote books on it, right? Like if somebody listening wants to do it, like somebody's written books on how to start a detail business. I'll start buying the books, listening to the podcasts. Another thing I've done. When I was starting my planner business, there's other planner businesses that I admired. I would look up the founder and see what podcasts they had been interviewed on. And they would go and share their whole story of how they launched their business. And I could still now learn what was the straight line, how did they get to where they are without me physically having the conversation. Yeah. Now, great tool, but I would not let that replace finding actual mentors. Because having a team of mentors is an asset in itself. Like, with my rental properties, if something comes up, I've got a handful of guys that I can call and get advice from. And they call me and, it goes both ways. Lots of times it's you, right? But it's just helpful to build this team of people who are experts in what you're doing.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I think that you nailed it with people will give you the information for free because they want to be the expert and they'll share all their stuff. Yeah. What does your average day look like now, being almost 10 years? So how long have you been self-employed?
Yeah, well, I left in 2018, but my business didn't start till July of 2019. Okay. So 7-ish years.
So 7 years in.
7 years in.
Was today look like versus 7 years ago?
Yeah. Well, I stay at home. I work from home, which is good. It has pros and cons. Right now, what I'm working on a lot is getting on podcasts.
Okay.
So because my book came out 6 months ago, it's just trying to get on as many podcasts as I can. I mean, I've been just over the past couple months, like 40 podcasts talking about my book, which is a little bit of a different one. We don't have to completely just talk about my book. But so lots of my day is researching podcasts, pitching podcasts. Since I have podcasts of my own, I'll record at least a podcast a week. I run coaching groups, so I do have coaching calls throughout the week with these groups of people that I'm coaching right now. Yeah, it's lots of working from home on my computer. Probably once or twice a week I'm on the phone for my rental properties. It's pretty rare that I would have to show up at a property now because I have a part-time person who helps. But that's a couple phone calls a week.
Yeah.
Sometimes more, sometimes less.
You have 34 units?
34 units.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Stuff comes up.
Yeah.
And it seems like it all happens at once.
Yeah.
It's all or nothing.
Yeah. Let's talk about the coaching business that you run, and what does that look like?
Mm-hmm.
And go ahead first, and then I got to follow up.
Yeah. So it started with me helping people use the process in my planner.
Okay.
So helping people set goals and manage their time. And then I started to niche down to only wanting to work with entrepreneurs. And then that's what really gave me all the content for this book, was after working with these different entrepreneurs to start a business. And it's like, all right, got put in this book. So now the coaching that I do is specifically for people who want to start a business this year, to help them figure out the business idea, validate its winner, and get it launched.
How do you find them? How do they find you?
Through my planner and my book.
Okay.
It's really like the book gives them, I feel like, everything I could put in there. But if somebody reads my book and then they join my email list or come on my site, and if they want accountability or personal help or the group's help to get them through it, then they have it. But like the reality is I'm taking them through the same process. Same with when my planner was. But like the book and the planner, they were both things I just wanted to make.
Mm-hmm.
But it took me, I wish I would have realized this sooner. The asset of my e-commerce business is the audience of people. And the book and the planner, they help create that audience. So now I have an audience of, I've had 40,000 people buy my planner. So it's like, I have a lot of people, I have a lot of email addresses that already somewhat know me, like me, trust me, because they used my planner and it got them a result, and they're still on my email list, right? So now it's using that audience to finding who actually wants a coach rather than just doing it themselves with a planner.
Do you have a coach?
I do have a coach, yeah.
Yeah.
I've had a coach for a long, I've gone through a bunch of different ones. That was another thing my dad did that was unique, is I started seeing a life coach maybe when I was in like high school.
Oh, really?
My dad started to pay for me to meet with a life coach.
Yeah.
So
what would you, I guess, pitch coaching? Why do you think it's important, and what has it done for you?
Yeah. I think for me, it's sometimes the coach will be somebody who is on the other side of the straight line, right? Mm-hmm. It's if I hire them as a coach, they're going to be more invested in me than the person I just meet and I'm asking questions.
Yeah.
Both are
You're
good.
Paying them.
They can shortcut the process. They're willing to give me, hey, here's templates. They've trained people on how to do this again and again. So like the coach I'm working with right now is specifically for authors getting on podcasts and growing a coaching business on the back end of it. So like it aligns very much. And the community is full of people like me, so I can learn from them. But I think most of it's pushed just helping me believe in myself. When somebody else believes in me so much, I start to believe in myself more. And things that in my head are like, okay, this is going to be hard, but since they've already done it before, and they're like, look, it's not that hard. Like, here's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't have to go through it. I'm sure it would have been harder if I wasn't hiring them, because I would have had to try 6 different methods to find, maybe 60 different methods to find the best one. Now they might be able to narrow it down to like, try these 2 and see which one of these catches on better, and they can help me refine it from there. So I think it's pushing my thinking of what's possible, shortcutting the process. I have switched almost preferring group coaching programs.
Okay.
And I think the reason for that is it's almost more mentors. Now there's a lot more people I can talk to who are in similar boats. But there's something about just meeting somebody who thinks at a higher level. Another thing I do is I go to conferences once a year, and this will connect here. I like to go to a conference once a year for my whatever I'm trying to do that year. So if it's for authors or starting a business or buying real estate. But it's amazing how I'll go there. I do learn from the speakers, but you just meet people they think at a much higher level. And you meet them and it's like they're just another person like me. They're not that much smarter or whatever. It's just another person. But it just helps me realize that they're not necessarily working harder than me. It's just they've been dreaming bigger than me. And so they've been using different strategies, right? Like an example was when I went to a real estate conference. I was like 25 at the time, and I had 10 apartments. I thought I was like crushing it, right? And there's like some other dude who sits down. He looks like he's my age. So I'm talking to him like, so do you have any property? Or he asks me, do I have any properties? And I tell him, I brag about how I have 10. Yeah. And I ask him, and he's like, yeah, we have 346. And it's like, you kidding me? But it was like, then I start talking to him, and it's like on the way to that conference, I was listening to this budgeting book on how to budget better. So I'm thinking how I can buy more properties. And he, on the way, was listening to a book about how to get investors. And it's like his goal was getting to 1,000 apartments. Mine was getting to 30. And like, okay, getting to 30, can you budget money and then buy more? Yes. But if I was aiming the goal at 1,000, I'd have quit trying to budget my money and skimping out on guac at Chipotle to buy another property. And it's like, no, I got to go get investors. So I don't know. I think it just helps me push my thinking.
Right on. Yeah, I think... coaching is extremely underrated.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a coach?
Yeah.
They're helpful.
Very. I'm very driven, but I kind of sometimes need to push in the direction, or be pushed a little harder to really sit down and like say exactly what I want, and then to put the path together to get there.
Yeah. Oh, I need the kick in. I feel like the coach I'm working with. I feel like just last week. I needed a kick in the butt. Like, Jason, stop trying to figure this out. Just keep doing what you're doing. And it was, I don't know, I like needed somebody to just tell me to stop looking for other opportunities or this. Like,
yeah,
just do it.
Yeah.
You already have something working. Just keep doing it.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I get asked like, well, what do you want? What do you want the next 2 weeks to look like? Well, kind of like the last 2 weeks. It was really good.
Yeah.
Okay, what exactly did you do? Every single day.
Yeah.
So, and then taking the clues from like, I go to bed around the same time. I wake up around the same time. I exercise,
Yeah.
I eat when I'm supposed to. And then.
Yeah. And that's the interesting thing with coaching. You brought up like the questions they ask you, right? And I feel like that's what I think a good coach should be doing is they're helping me find the answers that I already have. If I'm asking them for something, they'll give me answers. But otherwise, they're helping me clarify my own thoughts, so it's not bouncing around in my head.
It's really it's a very interesting thing because they're not giving me the answers to everything. They're just pushing me to find the answers and then identifying what I want to do and then identifying how I'm going to do it. And if it doesn't work, asking very specific questions. Well, why didn't that work? And then maybe even making a suggestion. Well, maybe instead try this.
Yeah.
Or listen to this podcast or watch this video or something like that. Okay. What do you do for fun?
That's great. So we have a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 1-year-old. And my wife is pregnant right now with our 4th. So I would say the phase of life I'm at, just being with my family, is the amount of fun. I don't have we do water ski, I guess, in the summer, so I still have a hobby with that. Right now it's a lot of stuff with our kids.
Yeah.
It's just, if I were to take time for my wife to go golfing, it wouldn't align with where we're at in our phase of life with our kids. So
would you feel guilty?
I wouldn't want to do it. I would feel guilty for my wife for sure, but it's like I could go golfing. My wife wouldn't tell me like no if I really wanted to, but it's like that's not. Our kids are a lot. I want to be helping my wife. I know she needs it. I want to be with our kids. They're little. They're fun. They're exciting.
Young, yeah.
So what we're doing for fun is we're going on lots of walks, visiting with other people, friends.
Friends with
Um,
kids?
Friends with kids.
That's a good hack.
Yeah. Trying to think if I have something else unique. In the summertime, we do go water skiing, so that will happen again. And mostly we do that as a social thing with family. It's, it's the two at once. I'm hanging out with family. I'm doing something that I enjoy. For years, I viewed my rental properties as a hobby. And people are like, no, that doesn't count as a hobby. But it was something I found fun.
What about interests other than income producing interests?
Yeah. Probably like if I was going to be putting more time to something, it would be water skiing, snow skiing. Now, maybe this is kind of aligned with hobbies. We're very involved at our church.
Okay.
And that is a lot of fun. Yeah, water skiing, snow skiing.
Do you find yourself ever like just researching a topic?
For fun, like a hobby topic?
Yeah.
Not too often.
No.
Not hobby one. Maybe like vacation places.
Okay.
I'll look those up. Yeah.
My kids are a little older, and my wife is great.
Yeah.
We have 3, 12, 9, and 6. So a little bit more,
So you're at a phase you can have hobbies right now.
Yeah, but I will tell you, if I like to go on hunting trips and.
Oh, I saw your deer.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're impressive.
Those were all local. Those are like one day.
That is something I would love to get into.
It's
hunting.
It's locally sourced.
Yeah.
But I'll go on these like 3-4 day trips, and like an hour in, I'm homesick. I'm like, I don't even want to be here. So, but I do think it's good to disconnect and spend time alone or with a couple old friends and stuff like that. I do, but I have found that like I do start to feel really guilty if I'm gone for a day. But now she's been taking, she went on, her and her friends rented a house for a weekend, and she's going on a trip here in a couple weeks, so I feel less bad.
Yeah. And I feel like for me and my wife, we like both want each other to have a couple trips a year. And I feel like it's healthy. We each go on a retreat, and then I go on a conference. She's doing a retreat, and then a girls' weekend with her and some other moms that have kids. And
leaving the kids with you?
Yeah.
Have you done that yet?
Me. Yep.
Yeah.
And I feel like for me, if I'm watching the kids for a couple days, it doesn't wear on me as much because I'm not with our kids all the time. I think for her, it's like she's watching them all day, every day. To have a weekend where there's no break and I'm gone, it's just like she needs a break from.
Well, kids are different with mom than they are with dad, for sure. Whenever my wife leaves, although they're fine.
Yeah.
That it's like they kind of feel the expectation leave the room as well, and then like, how are the kids? There's no problem.
Yeah, and my wife like hates it when I say, she's like, "How are the kids today?" And she's like thinking like, "I'm gonna like finally understand how it's just a nightmare." And this makes it sound like my wife is the worst.
No, not at all.
But it's just. And then I'm like, "Oh, we had the best time. We did this and this," and it's like,
yeah.
And
they went right to bed.
Yeah.
Like they're just different. They're different people with around mom and dad, and then they're different when mom and dad are together too. Yeah, and then if you're one-on-one with your kids, they're different than they are when everyone's together. It's very interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. I feel like that's helpful. Then I'll tell her, look, she's just different. They're just different with you.
You just when she comes back, like they were awful. Like I'm so glad you're home.
Yeah, I completely understand how it is for you now. Yeah, that's what she wants to hear. Yeah.
All right, two final questions. What advice would you give yourself today if you could meet yourself at the beginning of your journey?
If I could meet myself at the beginning of my journey, probably, lots of the things I brought up that just took me a little bit of time to figure out, like commit to dreaming every day and keep meeting with mentors. I feel like once I launched my business, I mentioned it took me a while to turn profits on my business.
Yeah.
And now it was kind of like I stopped doing both of those things. I had my dream of a business selling planners at that point. And then it took me a while to find the next dream. But then I wasn't necessarily as excited about what I was doing. I stopped meeting with mentors. Probably those would be two biggest ones. I'm trying to think of something else that I haven't shared. I think this is what I would share is if you ever want to be good at something, you have to be willing to be bad at it first. And that's something I'm still reminded of now because you're always kind of working on the next thing, and it's hard at first. You got to figure it out, and you can leverage the past experiences, so maybe it's not as hard. But if you're growing, you're trying new things, it's just hard, and that's okay. That's what growth feels like. It's hard. If you want to go live a great life, you're gonna have to do something hard. You don't live an epic life by doing what's easy.
Yeah.
You do it by doing what's hard, and it's okay.
Do you have a failure that sticks out?
Not really. I would say like it felt like a failure at the time where I went almost 2 years after launching my planners before they were earning consistent profits. I don't know if I look at that as a failure. It was like I had to go through that season of life. And it matured me so much I wasn't married at the time, so I think I was just more selfish. It's like, what else are you working towards? Just for me. But it helped me was like my business fully challenged me. It's like I had to start eating healthier. I had to start going to bed at a better time. I had to cut certain friends out of my life that were getting in the way of me running a successful business. I started praying and going to church because like I had something to pray about, this business. Like it was this really hard time, but if I didn't go through that, I don't think my wife would have ever been attracted to me when I finally met her. Like it just formed me in this really great way of being healthier. So I think that's still a reminder to myself of this is what growth feels like. If you want to be great at something, you got to be willing to be bad at it first.
Yeah.
And put in the work.
You got to be a beginner.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess what would be, do you have a dream that you want to share that like a 5-year dream?
Yeah. Probably next dream that's like building a fire inside of me right now is hosting my own conferences.
Oh.
Like I mentioned, I've gone to a lot of conferences, but I'd love to host my own and get many of the people that I'm coaching and are buying my planners that I see on Zoom or through my email list and get to have them come in person. And
what would it be about?
Probably specifically like the concept of my book here, helping entrepreneurs start their business.
Okay.
Or set their goals, manage their time, but more around what business you want to start and how to start it.
Awesome. You want to hold your book up?
Heck yeah. So my book is Dream Driven, the step-by-step process to discover your perfect business idea and launch it this year. And my planner is called Goal Crazy.
Awesome.
So if you're curious about setting goals or starting a business, check them out. My website is goalcrazy.com. They're both on Amazon. And I would say, like, if somebody's listening to this and they need help figuring out what are their goals or what's going to light the fire inside of them, if they go to my site, goalcrazy.com/course, Goal Crazy, and that's goal like a soccer goal, GOAL, goalcrazy.com/course, they can get a free course that'll help them figure out their idea that'll light the fire inside of them, clarify their dreams, set some goals. And that's the course that my planner starts out with that I've sold over 40,000 times. So they can get it for free.
Yeah, and there's something that is so built into people that writing is very therapeutic.
Yeah.
It cements it. It gives it more meaning versus just typing it into a phone or
bouncing it around
your head and never doing anything on it. But writing it down in a place that you're going to check on it every day is a huge, very easy life hack.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to what you brought up with your coach. Like they're asking you these questions, and it's like, you can do a lot of that with here's the planner of these questions, of coaching questions, and it's going to help you clarify what do you want to do, what's been holding you back, how are you going to overcome it.
Well, and also if the fire dies, say I set a goal of I want to do this year, and then maybe halfway through I find like, well, maybe that wasn't actually what I was after. That's okay.
Yeah.
And pivoting to a new one, but constantly saying like, all right, today's the day that I'm not going to get guacamole because I'm trying to save enough money to buy a shop vac so I can start this detail business. And then I just keep buying the guacamole. Like that's,
Yeah.
It does take some discipline to start saying like, all right, I'm in survival mode. How do I get out of survival mode? Perhaps it's a lower cell phone plan, a lower car payment, not having all the TV channels, not eating out 7 days a week or 14 times a week.
Yeah.
just little stuff will move the needle. I saw that in my own life.
Oh yeah, I can agree. And I feel like that sparks me. Maybe like the advice I would have given myself was I think I viewed freedom when I was first starting my business. Like I want the freedom to be able to say yes to anything I want. Like I want to be able to go buy the guac when I want the guac. And I would say now my perspective on that is what's more freeing is being able to say no. Like I can buy the guac, but I'm going to say no. Because if you say yes to everything, you're a slave to all your desires, all the shiny objects that you see. And it's like what true discipline looks like is when you can say no to these unhealthy desires or unnecessary things. That's freedom.
Not consistently chasing pleasure.
Yeah.